Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Weekly column Here we go again. http ntvforex.com news ID 40B828 7/19/2022 42:42 p.m. Review and preview. The U.S. reported 77,200 coronavirus cases on Thursday, a record, according to Johns Hopkins University. That spike brought the total number of confirmed U.S. infections to more than 3.57 million. COVID-related deaths are up to more than 138,000. There's definitely a sense of nervousness in the market, said one trader. Fred Imbert, www.cnbc.com, July 17, 2020. The bigger economic danger by far posed by the pandemic debt is that it will remain precisely that debt. The U.S. thus finds itself stuck in a debt trap, alongside the rest of the world. Economists at the Bank for International Settlements coined that term to describe a situation in which prolonged low interest rates induce the accumulation of so much unproductive government and private debt that to raise taxes would risk a catastrophic financial system or fiscal crisis. Joseph C. Sternberg, The COVID Fiscal Crisis is About Debt and Taxes, Wall Street Journal, July 16, 2020. Federal spending for the first 9 months of fiscal 2020 hit a record $5.005 trillion. House Democrats have passed a fifth virus bill spending $3 trillion more, and President Trump says he wants a fifth bill too. This means there is likely to be one, as the U.S. tests whether there are limits to what the Treasury can borrow on the cheap. The Federal Reserve is financing deficits for now, but taxpayers will start paying next year. Here we go again. Get ready for the return of the never-ending story of the 21st century fiscal management mismanagement roulette game. Saturn is back in Capricorn, nearing Jupiter and Pluto, which have been there all year. Pluto in Capricorn has been referred to many times in this column as the 4Ds: debt, deficits, downgrades, and defaults. With Jupiter present, the 4Ds can get large, in fact, very large. We are running at a record debt spiral pace, and when it hits, it could become very nasty. There is going to have to be some forgiveness before too long, or a point will be reached where it may become unbearable. This point may be closer than many experts think, for Mars is now in Aries, about to square the Capricorn stellium planets. First, however, we are still celebrating the gift of extreme financial liquidity, courtesy of the Fed and the government's generous monetary and fiscal policies. This leads to the return of irrational exuberance, symbolized by Jupiter sextile Neptune, approaching for the second of 3 times this year, on July 27. The first passage didn't go too well. It was on February 20, 2020, the exact day of the all-time high in the S&P and some other world stock indices. The next month witnessed a record 1-month decline with several record 1-day losses in equity markets. Of course, the coronavirus pandemic breakout was the cause then. Today, the threat has returned and people, at least the media, are nearing a state of panic again. Yet, while Rome burns, stock markets around the world continue to boom. It is burn and boom times. In Europe, the Netherlands AEX, German DAX, and Zurich SME all rallied to their highest levels since the crash into the lows of March. The FTSE did not join this celebration to new cycle highs last week, so we have a case of intermarket bearish divergence in effect here. In Asia and the Pacific Rim, China was again the big story, but it wasn't all joy this week. The Shanghai Composite reached 3,558 on Monday, July 13, its highest mark since January 2018. By Friday, it had collapsed to 3,187, a huge loss in only 4 days. The Indian Nifty index was strong, posting its highest mark on Friday since its March lows. The Japanese Nikkei and Australian All Ords also rallied but did not make new highs for this cycle. The Hang Seng of Hong Kong declined all week. Thus, there is intermarket bearish divergence here too in our geocosmic 3-star critical reversal zone related to the triple oppositions of the Sun to Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn July 14, 20. The intermarket bearish divergence story showed up in the Americas too. The Nasdaq made a new all-time last Monday, July 13. Brazil's Bovespa and the S&P made new post-crash highs late last week. But the DJIA could not make a new cycle high, although it did rally nicely into July 15. Intermarket bearish divergence patterns were also present in the precious metals as silver roared to 19.87 on July 16, its highest mark in almost 4 years. Gold did not exceed its multi-year high made the previous week on July 8 at 1,829.80. The euro also posted a new cycle high last week, but the Swiss franc did not. Crude oil rallied but fell just short of a new high following its generational cycle low on April 20. Bitcoin looks lost between 9,000 and 9,500 as weekly ranges keep getting more and more narrow. That will change soon with Uranus in Taurus, just like all currencies are changing. The fact that the North Node now leaves Cancer for Gemini is another geocosmic indicator of a major trend change in currencies within 5 months. It looks like it happened in March. Short-term geocosmics. Voters in Pennsylvania largely support former Vice President Joe Biden over President Donald Trump, but a majority of respondents to the latest Monmouth University poll suspect that their community contains many secret Trump voters. The poll found that 57% of Pennsylvania voters believe that there are a number of so-called secret voters in their communities who support Trump but won't tell anyone about it, while only 27% believe there are similar secret voters for Biden. Theodore Bunker, Monmouth Biden leads in Pennsylvania but most expect secret Trump vote. www.newsmax.com Politics, July 17, 2020. If the virus crested through quickly, and once, a V-shaped recovery was possible. But if the pandemic returned for a second wave, we could easily suffer a double-dip recession. Alan S. Binder, former vice chairman of the Federal Reserve, the economy won't get healthier while America gets sicker, Wall Street Journal, July 17, 2020. We are nearing the end of the 3 solar oppositions to Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn, July 14, 20. The Sun will enter its ruling sign of Leo, July 22 – August 22, a time traditionally when the world wants to socialize and enjoy parties. Leo can be a bit of a risk-taker, so this year there will be a need to apply more than the usual amount of self-control and discipline. This is further amplified by the transit of Mars now in Aries. It will be there through the first week of January, but starting August 4, it will begin making a 3-passage square aspect to those same 3 planets in the Capricorn stellium. Mars in Aries, like the Sun in Leo, seeks fun and entertainment and is more willing than usual to take risks. The square to the Capricorn planets indicate there could be an unwanted consequence to do so, especially August 4, 24. In terms of financial markets, this may be favorable for traders seeking large price swings, especially as Uranus is also highlighted August 2, 15. During periods when Mars, Jupiter, and Uranus are active at the same time, the possibility of a severe financial or stock market sell-off increases. These precipitous declines are usually the result of a sudden event in nature: fire, drought, hurricanes, or a surprise announcement by political or banking leaders, or some other human-induced incident that shocks the world. It just happens at the same time transiting Mars will conjoin natal Saturn in the Buttonwood chart of the Nicene, in opposition to the Buttonwood's natal Jupiter-Neptune. It's indicative of more irrational exuberance leading to the possibility of turning into a panic. So, what is one to do as a trader? You need to be quick. This is not a time to hesitate and wait for confirmation of your signals. The signal comes, but it doesn't usually give a second chance, so action is critical. As an individual going about his/her normal daily life, this can be a time of great effort, but if you are not clear on your goals, it can end up becoming a time of delays and frustration. Be certain on your choice of people to work with. Avoid at all costs those who create stress and too often fall behind on deadlines because that will create stress too. Avoid taking on more than you can handle or dealing with others who think the way to get things done is by threat and abuse. This can be a productive period if you are clear, or a time of great frustration if you take on projects or work with people that are too exhausting and demanding. You don't want to burn out or waste your time or effort, and the best way to avoid that is to organize your time and pace your activities with people who are reliable. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching.